I don't know about you, but ever since I started pursuing a career in music and entrepreneurship, I've gotten a lot of friends and family hit me up wanting to work. Now, I know it's tempting. It's very tempting, okay? Because they're friends and family. You guys know each other. You're familiar with each other. But let me tell you, when it comes to doing business, it can be totally different. All right. Perfect example, Master P. When he first started No Limit, it was a family owned business. He brought his brothers in and they built this big old label and just basically a conglomerate. And we see how that played out over the years. He just went off on his family a couple weeks ago on Instagram, right? You bring the family on, you guys are able to build so much together, but there is, there's a chance that it can go sour. I know, like I said, it's tempting. I know for me, if my sister was still here, I can easily see me and her building a business together, because she has some interests that were very similar to my interests today and outside of music, right? And I could easily see us going into business together, but I'm sure there would have been some times where we may have bumped heads. I could totally see that. So as an artist, there may be people that come to you that wants to manage you, or they want to be an artist with you and form a group. And then also, if you're the business person, you may have family members reach out to you wanting you to manage them or run their business. So, that relationship can evolve and form into different variations depending on who you are, your role, your gift, your talent, and what they're able to bring to the table. I was working with, a couple years ago, I co-managed an artist with his cousin. And that was a very interesting situation. I still, rock with him to this day. But it was a situation where I felt like I needed to walk away because, again, they were family, right? So if any time there's a conflict, right, I knew that there's a high possibility that the artist could have sided with his cousin, who was also, managed him as well. So I said, you know what, let me just walk away from the situation and I'll support you guys from afar. And we all ended that, relationship in a very cordial, very professional, polite, respectful way. And, like I said, I still rock with that artist to this day and watch his moves and, seeing, I love watching his evolution as not only an artist, but as a man as well. So, like I said, I've been in these situations where family members are involved. I've seen it from a distance, and it's like, you guys really have to be careful, okay? Because it is a very fine line that you're walking. All right, if things go sour, that relationship or the negative side of that situation could carry over and spill over into your family dynamic and can create, animosity or, some kind of dispute amongst family members. So you guys really have to be careful. I'm not saying if it's a good or bad thing. I'm not saying if it's something that you shouldn't do at all, but just be careful. So with that being said, I want to give you guys 3 things to watch out for and to do to make sure, to ensure that, the relationship doesn't go too bad. Now keep in mind, like, this is very subjective, okay? Like, it could go bad and it could go good. Okay, it can go either way depending on the people who are involved. But I would like to at least give you guys some things to start out with. If you find yourself in a situation where, you could be building a business with your friends or family. The first thing you guys need to consider is to set boundaries early. Be sure that you set boundaries early before you guys even do anything. Make sure you discuss the roles of both parties, okay, and the expectations. Me, I'm always on the business side of things. I'm creative, but I'm not a creative, if that makes sense. So I know my role will more than likely be on the business side of things. And if they're the artist or someone that I'm overseeing, they have their lane on the creative side. We have to make sure that we set things clear that this is your responsibility and this is what I'm expecting you to complete and do, and this is yours over here and this is what I'm expecting you to do as well. And then also to hold each other accountable. Like I said earlier, this could be a good situation because you guys are familiar with each other and there is a relationship, but it's so important that you discuss the roles of both parties and expectations and set those boundaries early. Also make sure you put it on paper. Put it on paper what your duties are and then what the other party, their duties are. You got to list that down just so if there's anything that comes up, you guys have paper that you can refer back to. All right. Now, I know a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people get scared when it comes to contracts or agreements. But look, a contract and agreement is in place for your benefit as well as theirs. It's to secure and make sure all parties are being held accountable. It's for everyone. It's not anything to be scared of. All right. It's to make sure that everyone knows what it is that they're doing. Because like I said, disputes and disagreements will happen. That's just human nature. Okay. There's no relationship that's perfect, whether it's personal or professional. No relationship is perfect. So it's so important that you put this on paper and set those boundaries super early. Also include in there separation. Like a marriage, there's the prenup, but also there's, things in the prenup where, if in the event that you guys separate, this person gets this person gets that. When it comes to business, it's very similar, but it's so important that you guys put that in there. Like in the event that we decide to go both ways, who owns what? Okay, so this will save you guys a lot of time. This will save money when it comes to like legal fees and whatnot. Like set the expectations and the boundaries, put it on paper, but also include that separation clause in there so you guys will know how things stand. And I say do this early because things change over time. We see it all the time. People, I call it flipping the script. People will flip the script. Just think if you were someone and what you were building, the business blew up. Now it's this $1 million company. Now everybody changed. People done changed. They different now. But you have this paper that you can fall back on. Okay? So, like I said, set boundaries early and put it on paper. The second thing is to learn how to separate business from personal. It can be hard. I know it can be so hard depending on the relationship. And we've seen this all the time. Like there's a lot of artists out there who are managed by their significant others, or they've built businesses with their significant others. Perfect example, Candy Burris from Escape and her husband Todd. You got Tamar and Vince. We saw what happened to them. You got Beyonce and Jay-Z. They're building businesses together, but they also had their own. You also see Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child and her husband Tim. He manages her. He's a executive in the music business and he manages her career. And then you also have another one that came to mind in a different industry is the Altman brothers in real estate. I'm a big fan of $1 Million Listing LA. I love them, and I swear one of them they show my house all the time on the show. Like I love that show. But you got the Altman brothers, okay? Two brothers, they're in business together, okay? So, like I said, we see that all the time where family members are conducting business, but it can be hard. So we have to remember to learn how to separate the business from the personal. Now, it can be a little easier with siblings. or distant relatives, because you guys are not as close. You're not looking at each other all day, every day, right? You can separate it a little bit more. As siblings, you each have your own individual households, your own family, and you pretty much come together around family, holidays and whatnot. So it's a little easier. And when I say little, I really do mean that. Like, it's a little easier. Okay. But it can be done. It can be accomplished. It's just important that you guys separate it, because, like I said earlier, if there's a dispute, it can easily carry over into the family dynamic to the point where people are gossiping and you heard what so-and-so did. Yeah, girl, da, da, da. And then family members may feel like they have to choose sides and all that stuff. It's just crazy. Like I said, when I said to set boundaries, learn how to separate the two, and then do that early on. Go into that relationship or that partnership knowing that you guys are going to keep things separate. Now, I used, siblings and distant relatives and saying how it's a little easier, but when it comes to like couples, oh my God, totally different, because you guys are in the same household. And, Tamar, she said that's what happened with her and Vince. There was no separation, and it contributed to them splitting up. So, like I said, make sure you learn how to separate the two. And then last but not least, respect each other. Respect each other, because remember, you guys are family, and they're your friends. Okay? So like I said, there was a relationship there prior to this business relationship, and there was a level of respect there. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be around them or even considering getting into business. So at the end of the day, make sure you guys carry that respect throughout the entire relationship. Disagreements will happen, but you got to remember to handle them respectfully. Don't gossip with other family members. Keep that within your relationship, your partnership. Keep that there. Do not gossip with other family members, bringing them into your mess, because it's going to create bias. And I'm telling you, it's not cute to have family members, picking sides. It's just going to cause a lot of mess that you really don't want. All right. So like I said, let's just recap real quick. Make sure you set boundaries early, know who's doing what, and also talk about if the relationship goes sour, how things are going to be split up, who's going to get what. Also, make sure you learn how to separate the business from the personal. Do that super early. Start that early. That should be in the conversation when you guys are setting boundaries. All right. Make sure you know to separate the two. And then last but not least, respect each other. Because if you guys choose not to do business, at the end of the day, you are still family, and friends come and go. I mean, they can, but there was something there. There was a personal tie there with that person. So make sure you respect each other. So here's what I want you guys to do. Have you been in a situation, or do you have a family member or friend that's interested in partnering up with you? Let us know in the comments so we can, talk about it and have a dialogue about it. Peace, and I'll see you guys in the next video.